we may not have a big dip. We may not, go down. So if you find the right deal, I would still be buying it today.
Hey everyone, Kevin Amolsch, Pine Financial Group. We work together so you succeed. Hey, you found us here on Facebook, on YouTube. Please hit like, hit subscribe, and share your comments below. We would love to interact. I know Justin's excited to answer any questions that you have about his opinion on what's going on. So if you didn't notice, I brought a guest with us today that you've seen on the channel multiple times, Justin Cooper. I want to talk a little bit about COVID and what's going on in Justin's world and what he's doing personally to prepare for what's coming, how we get through this. And he's a smart guy, so I just thought I would bring him on and chat, get his opinion. Since you're hearing me all the time, I thought this would be good. So Justin, I know the viewers here know who you are, but if you don't mind, maybe 60 seconds, tell us who you are, and then we'll dive into what you feel like is going on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, Kevin. So I am a full-time real estate investor, a full-time hard money lender, and I've been doing some coaching and consulting with folks looking to be buying some rental properties. So bought my first property back in 2007, similar circumstances, but I didn't have the resources that, first off, that Pine Financial is putting out there. I didn't know who Pine Financial was. I didn't really know what YouTube was, any of these things. And so really that first fix and flip turned into a fix and flop. But I wound up losing about 10,000. But since then, I really fell in love with the process, and everything I thought I would like about investing in real estate all really came true. And so here I am over a decade later. And hopefully because I did that first one in the big downturn, I'm a little more prepared for this one. Hopefully we'll find out.
Well, let's dive in. I mean, when you say you're more prepared now than you were in 2008, obviously 2008 and now very different. Some people make that comparison, which I will push back on each time I hear it. But you've been through a downturn before, so at least that piece you're familiar with. So what are you doing different now?
Well, so one of the biggest things is I'm just in a much better cash position, meaning I actually have some money. So back then when I did that first deal, my repair budget was $10,000. Not because I did any kind of diligence or price shopped or anything like that. That was just all the money I had to my name was $10,000.
I love it when you tell that story.
So I couldn't spend 11, right? I only had 10. But so here we are a decade later. First off, I'm married. I've got kids. So that is radically different. But then I just have a decade of experience in life and work, and have done some things somewhat intelligently. And so I have a couple more bucks in the bank. So that's the first thing, is just being more liquid. One, having cash, but then two, because we do own a couple of rental properties, we, meaning my wife and I, we have a couple of rental properties. We have our primary residence, and we've been paying them down over time. We've invested over time, and properties have appreciated. We've gotten lines of credit, so HELOCs, home equity lines of credit. And so we have cash in the bank, but then we also have these lines of credit. And then because I don't know if these lines of credits may be called due or closed down or anything like that, I actually pulled a little bit of money off those lines of credit and put them in the bank to give myself even more liquidity. Yes, I'm taking on debt. Yes, I have to make monthly payments. But if the banking world gets a little screwy, I have cash in the bank, especially if and when properties change, values change, more properties become available. I'm in a better position to, one, keep the house and make our payments and keep putting food on the table for the family, but then two, seize any opportunities if I see any good rentals or fix and flips come along.
Yeah, it's interesting. You and I talked about this not that long ago, how you're pulling money off your lines of credit. And I think that's really smart, because in 2008, what happened?
Yeah, they got shut down. A lot of people were relying on those lines of credit. And then when they actually went to pull on it, it wasn't available anymore.
Yeah. So Justin, you're saying that you are actually pulling money off your line of credit, paying interest on it, just stashing the cash in the bank. So really you're losing money because you're paying interest on money you're not using, but you're doing that as a hedge against the possibility of losing access to the cash. And the last thing you want to do is lose access to cash when something might become available. Some opportunity may become available.
Yeah, 100%. I want to be ready for those opportunities.
Are you looking right now during all of this that's going on for opportunities?
Not necessarily. I am on 50 different wholesalers lists. So every day I get several wholesale deals, in my email inbox. So I check those out, kind of spot check what's going on with pricing, what neighborhoods are moving and not moving and are attractive to other investors, because that's what a wholesaler is trying to put out, is a deal that's attractive to other investors. So trying to keep my finger on the pulse of what wholesalers are doing. And if something makes sense, I'm going to dive a little deeper on that. I have good relationships with several real estate agents. And so although I didn't say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Real Estate Agent, start sending me some deals, put me on your hot list or something, I know that if I do feel a big enough shift and I'm ready to do that, I can just pick up the phone, and then they'll be calling me and emailing me with deals. So although I'm not specifically looking, I've over the years been lining things up so that when I am ready, or I want to, or I feel the time is right, I can pick up the phone and the deals will just start really flowing into my inbox because I've built those relationships over the past several years.
So you're somewhat sitting on the sideline now. What kind of advice would you give to your clients that are asking if now's the time to buy?
First off, it's always the right time to buy, because if we're in Colorado has been such a desirable market for the past decade, even longer. That's why we've seen the appreciation we have. That's why inventory is so low, because when inventory does come up, it gets gobbled up, right? There's buyers for this inventory. So it's always a good time to buy, because I'm assuming two things, right? Assuming, right, which is assuming appreciation, right, which is a gamble to some respects. But Colorado is still going to be an amazing place to live. Still with the beautiful outdoors and all these qualities that I think make it desirable. I think Colorado will continue to appreciate. So even if you're buying now at the top of the market, and we're just waiting for this correction, it may not actually come because it's still so desirable. We may not have a big dip. We may not, go down. So if you find the right deal, I would still be buying it today. But to that point, we keep talking about deals and deals, but what is a deal? Because what a deal is to me is going to be different from you, is going to be different from somebody else listening, right? So you have to be clear with what a deal is to yourself, so that when it does come in, you can identify it.
Yeah, that's good advice. And you do quite a bit of business in both Colorado and Minnesota. I know that. We'll probably have Sean on the next week or two to get his opinion on what he's doing during the COVID crisis as well. But you've touched on Colorado a little bit there. Anything else about specific to Colorado, that statistics, inventory, anything else that you're keeping an eye on or watching or any of that?
Yeah. So just the nature of what we do, being hard money lenders, we're talking to investors all day long, to real estate agents all day long, appraisers. We've really got our finger on the pulse of the market, I feel like. And so what I've noticed is, as we've gone into and through the coronavirus situation, less sellers want to sell their properties. So inventory has gone down because of that, but buyers are a little scared. So they slow down a little bit. So as much as whatever balance we had beforehand, it's kind of come down seemingly similar proportions. So it was a seller's market before this, and it seems to still somewhat be a seller's market right now. That is why I think the appreciation will continue, or at least hold steady, because we didn't just completely change to a buyer's market where the buyers can be beating up sellers necessarily. But what we did notice in Colorado with the whole stay-at-home orders, real estate showings kind of got shut down. You weren't able to go see a property, no open houses, at least not until you went under contract on the property, and then you could go see it. So one of my clients who's buying a deal is also a real estate agent. And so I was asking him, how has that affected him? And so at that time, he had two clients trying to buy homes, and both made offers sight unseen, right? Other than the pictures, maybe a virtual tour, went under contract, and then they did go through the property and still followed through and bought the house. It was still what they had hoped and thought. So that right there was great, because real estate was moving even though we couldn't go out and see properties. I think it also allowed the really serious buyers to be out there taking action. You knew if somebody was making an offer or showing interest that they're pretty serious, because why make all these offers and potentially put thousands of dollars at risk in earnest money if you weren't really serious? So I think that showed something there. And then as those stay-at-home orders got lifted or adjusted, and now real estate showings were available again, first off, sellers started putting their properties back on the market a little bit more, not through the roof, but it definitely went up. But the buyers went crazy as well in a similar proportion. Again, right back to the supply and demand. Properties are flying off, multiple offers. Colorado's just kind of been humming along, doing well in the real estate world.
And we follow the statistics pretty closely on the markets we work in, and as well as national. Inventory is low across the nation, as you know. I've said before in other videos and in our newsletter that I believe strongly that residential real estate is somewhat isolated from all of this pandemic. I don't know that that's forever, but at least in the short run, I don't think there's going to be big price adjustments up or down. I'm going to write an article for the next newsletter, Justin, and I'm going to talk about opportunities that are going to be created because of the COVID crisis. And I'm just curious, I'm having a hard time figuring out what the opportunity is on the residential real estate side. What are your thoughts, and what are you telling your clients? What opportunities are coming or going to come out of all of this?
So in this past month, I wrote an article about foreclosures because I had talked to somebody who was interested in coaching, was interested in getting a hard money loan, and wanted to be ready for this wave of foreclosures. My conversation with her was, I don't see that wave coming. There's been a lot of stimulus from the government, right? Whether through the PPP, the SBA loans, the checks that we're getting from, the $1,200 plus a couple bucks for your kids or whatever that may look like, as well as, the possibility of forbearance from your banks and from your mortgage lenders. So there's ways to survive at least the short term, several months, and not have to lose your house, not have to miss payments. I don't see a wave of foreclosures coming necessarily.
Yeah, and even if there is, I don't think that it's going to create an impact on values because the inventory is so ridiculously low in Minnesota and Colorado and pretty much across the nation. So even the beat up houses are selling for retail prices right now. And I think that's going to continue. Just to put it in perspective here, neutral market is somewhere between 4 months and 6 months of inventory, right? And we're well under 2 months of inventory. Months of inventory would need to triple to be considered neutral. I don't think it's happening, guys. I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. I mean, now here's the thing. The great thing about this video, call us up in a year, tell us we were wrong. But if we are wrong, all the more reason to be getting yourself prepared for that, right? Having cash in the bank is almost never a bad thing. My kind of litmus test is always, can I sleep well at night? And if I have a couple extra bucks in the bank, I'm going to sleep well at night.
Yeah, and I'm really looking at the next year. Beyond that, it's a little bit foggy because that's when a lot of the forbearances will be expiring and everything. So I don't have a strong sense after that, but definitely in the short term. I know people are sitting on the sideline waiting for the perfect deal and thinking that this COVID is going to create all these opportunities. And I'm saying if you see a deal, you should buy it. And if nothing else, we're likely going to see some inflation, and that's going to create some pressure on values, which is going to be good for you if you own it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I would say don't sit on the sideline waiting for some great opportunity, because if it comes, it's not going to be for a while. All right, I apologize. Lighting is terrible on my side, so I apologize to everyone that's viewing the video. And I have these windows in my office that there's no window coverings. They're up a little higher, and yeah, it's getting me right now. So let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts, or?
Really just be clear on what you're looking for. If you're looking for deals, if you're ready to seize an opportunity, know what an opportunity is, and then make sure all the other things are lined up to seize that. When you do have the clarity and one does fall in your lap, be pre-approved with a hard money lender. Call Kevin and I. Let's get a pre-approval letter in your hand, understand how the mechanics of loans work, so that when it does hit you, you're able to jump on that and you have the team and resources around you to take advantage of it.
We'd love to work with you. We'd love to pre-approve you. If you need advice, you need some help on something, get in touch with us. You can reach us at pinefinancialgroup.com.